proposal for you.
Okay, a
Sorry.
modest proposal? You want to eat
No, it's
babies?
actually a nervy proposal. It's a
Hmm,
provocative proposal, I think, not modest.
go.
As you know, I spent a chunk of my day yesterday feeding some of our transcripts into ChatGPT, and I did ask it to generate a sample little script for this book with dialogue for both of us. Do you want to read it?
More than anything.
Great.
How do I do that? How do I be the
I'm
reading
gonna,
one?
I put it in a Google Doc and I would love to send you a link.
Okay. Gordon
How do you
has
think?
heard that we are recording and wants to be a guest on the pod or at least come say hi to Pardo. I will need your
Oh,
consent. He can't be a
hold
guest
on.
on the
Tell
pod. He
him we
hasn't read the
can't
book.
just tell him hold on a minute. We
Yeah, I
got
mean
too much happening right
he
now.
said it 12 minutes ago. So he's not expecting prompt reply, I imagine.
Okay, hold
Now,
on.
okay, I'm holding.
Okay, I'm putting it in the chat here.
In the chat
I think I gave
GPT.
you, yeah. So what? No, I mean I'm putting it
I was
in
being
our
funny.
chat, the link.
I'm ready.
That was a hilarious joke.
Okay, I
Wow.
already love it.
Okay, so here we are starting our episode. Would you like to begin?
Are we reading the stage directions or am I just embodying the stage directions?
Embodying, or
Okay.
whatever you want. And action.
Look right into your podcast app. You see there's a discourse happening. Is this book a masterpiece or problematic? One's a lifelong diehard fan, the other's a first-time reader. Both are really smart and funny and attractive. Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High. Talking trends and hierarchy. Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High. Relentless focus on their bodies. Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High. What do they mean by all American? Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High. No sex, just titillation.
Don't go breaking my family.
No, absolutely not. That's banned.
I had to. This entire book is just people breaking their own families. I'm being thematic. Today we're looking at book 65, Trouble at Home.
Okay, 6 word reviews. Here's mine. Work stress ruins marriage. Call therapist.
Mine is Jessica dates a voice. Ned implodes.
That's actually extremely accurate.
Thank you. I take these very seriously.
I just want to say I was not prepared for the amount of Ned Wakefield feelings I had while reading this. Like, he's very much still Lucifer, but in this one, he's also like some kind of disillusioned failed politician who's mad at his wife for having a job.
Yes, yes, he's furious that Alice has like goals. He wants to spiral and have his midlife crisis in peace. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Alice is out here literally trying to land the biggest project of her career, and Ned's like, feels emasculating, might run for mayor.
It's such a classic 80s dad move. My wife is doing things. I must now destroy the family dynamic in retaliation.
Okay, but also, I want to say this book tries to give us something real. There are moments where it's clearly interested in what happens when communication fully breaks down. Like everyone in the house is circling each other. Even the twins seem freaked out, and they're usually like, let's throw a dance party to fix grief.
Right? And you've got Liz doing her earnest little peacemaker act, and Jess invents a phone-based parasocial romance?
Of course she does. The Wakefield house is collapsing, and Jess is like, time to emotionally outsource.
Honestly, I love that whole plot. Her falling in love with quote unquote Charlie on a chat line felt so extremely of the moment and also very modern. Like swap in a Discord server and we're basically there.
Totally. But also, Jess being enamored with the idea of Charlie is the most Jessica thing ever. She doesn't even want him to be real. She just wants someone to say she's interesting and funny, then hang up.
God, same.
But yeah, the real emotional core of the book is the marriage. And I do think it was trying to gesture toward drag me. That's ChatGPT dragging my ass. Gesture toward. What happens when people start living parallel lives inside the same house? Alice has her own ambitions, Ned is spiraling, and no one's actually saying the thing.
And the thing is, I'm unhappy and I don't know how to talk about it without blaming you.
Exactly. I mean, the emotional repression is thick. There are like 3 different scenes where someone starts to say how they feel and then just walk out of the room.
Which is the Sweet Valley equivalent of a nuclear family meltdown, because usually the solution is bake sale, solved. But this one is like, no, we're actually going to sit in the discomfort a little.
Maybe it's true. They
Yeah.
don't like honestly, like that's kind of what it is.
All of this
They-
is so good. How long is this also?
No, it's short. Don't worry.
It feels
It's
already
not.
long.
Yeah, don't worry. They don't sit very long though. It almost has something to say, and then it kind of backs away with everything's fine now energy. That's not right.
Yeah.
But I still kind of loved it.
It's messy and kind of sad. But also, it's Sweet Valley, so Jessica still managed to rack up a $200 phone bill in the middle of all of it.
That's what we come for. Emotional chaos, lip gloss, and long distance charges.
That's the Hive promise.
Okay, Robert, you know what time it is. I have the book cover here. I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to do 2 things. Describe what you see. And they did get the book cover wrong. They don't know who's on the front. And guess what the tagline is? I'll show you the real cover out.
Okay, so this is just listeners, this is ChatGPT. I have not seen the real cover. Okay, so this is clearly Liz. She looks so worried. She's holding her head like she just found out Enid voted Republican. And is that Ned looking like an off-brand Reagan? He's got that I'm emotionally constipated, I need everyone to suffer with me look.
Incredible. And what's your guess for the tagline?
Oh my God. Let's see. How do you fix a family that's emotionally bankrupt? No, wait. Trouble at home, ... and nobody's home emotionally. Wait, this is now dragging me. Drum roll. Final answer.
Beautiful. The actual tagline is, and this is not the actual tagline, can the Wakefield save their family?
Oh, wow. So close, so bleak, so vague. Love it. We have like a heading within our script with a boat emoji and the words, the engine that drives the boat. All right, so let's do the engine that drives the boat, which is our segment where we read the first 3 paragraphs and ask, does this actually set up the themes of the book?
I have it here. Let me read. This was before it knew that you always do. I told it that later. Elizabeth Wakefield sighed as she set the table for dinner. Lately, her parents seemed tense and distracted, and tonight was no exception. She could hear their raised voices from the kitchen.
I mean, yeah, that's the engine. That's the whole boat. We've got discontent, ambient tension, domestic breakdown. This is not a B-plot intro. This is mom and dad might be getting a divorce past the salad tongs. How is this real? How is this not what I actually said?
I know. It's crazy. Exactly. You know, immediately, this is not a Jessica pranks the cheerleaders kind of book. This is the first book in a while where the Wakefield parents are the center of the drama, and it actually kind of works.
Totally. I was expecting filler, but instead we got a weirdly realistic portrayal of 2 people slowly growing apart while their kids emotionally flail around them.
Yes. There's a moment where Ned is like, I'm not happy anymore. And instead of exploring that, he immediately tries to pivot into a political campaign, like classic masculine deflection.
It's like, instead of confronting my feelings, what if I make this everyone's problem? Which is true.
And then, yeah. And then you have Alice, who's finally getting recognition for her work, but instead of being celebrated, she's treated like she's abandoning the family because she has a job.
Honestly, it reminded me of those sitcom episodes where the dad tries to cook one meal and immediately breaks down sobbing because he doesn't know how the dishwasher works.
Meanwhile, the kids are doing what they always do, which is not talk about it. Liz tries to fix everything, and Jessica dissociates via fantasy hotline romance.
Can we talk about how she starts talking to this guy, quote unquote, Charlie, and literally tells him her name is Magenta Galaxy or whatever? Which
This was
she
a mistake.
doesn't
Yeah,
do.
this is an error. Listen, ChatGPT is not perfect. Okay, whatever. Melissa.
Which also doesn't happen. Just okay. Right. Still iconic, still untraceable. And she's just poured her soul out to this man who was probably a 43-year-old line cook named Dwayne. Yes.
43-year-old line cook named Dwayne is the title of this episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, this book surprised me. It had actual emotional stakes. And even though it backs away from truly sitting in the mess, it gives a glimpse of what Sweet Valley could be like if it allowed itself to live in the discomfort for a second.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, but it was compelling. And sometimes that's better.
Agreed. And I love that we're getting more Wakefield interiority, even if it's kind of a bummer.
All right, Hive, what do you think? Have your parents ever tried to solve a marital tension via impromptu mayoral run? Have you ever fallen in love with a voice on a chat line? Tell us everything.
Next time, we'll be back with something lighter. Or not. It's Sweet Valley. Someone's probably in a coma or lying about their identity.
Can't wait. And scene. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts. First, can I just know how much did ChatGPT generate versus you cleaning up?
All I did was delete. There was some stuff I deleted. I didn't edit anything.
So it knew gesture toward, it knew, I mean, like,
Yeah, it knew gesture. Yes.
it knew that
Yes.
I say iconic at least 3 times an episode.
Yes. Yes.
So, okay, this makes
I
me
gave
feel,
it like it's unethical. Should I have asked your consent before I did it? I thought about that, but I thought it was so funny that it was worth it. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, of course you should have asked my consent, obviously. And I cannot believe how good it is. Like we have to cut this from the actual episode because people are going to be like, we don't need you. We have the robots doing it for you. They don't need
Yeah,
us.
it's actually terrifying. And
Yeah.
like it's so terrifying. And also the fact that that was based on like 7 or 6 transcripts. Like imagine how good it would be with all 80 or whatever. It's crazy.
I shudder to think. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
No notes except for the Melissa Magenta Galaxy
Yeah.
thing.
And it still had some structural things to learn, the segments and whatever, but listen, it tried. But yeah, I'm actually really scared about AI and sat in the dark last night thinking about it a lot. But anyway,
But did you really?
yeah,
Oh,
I actually did.
I'm sorry. Do you want to?
Anyway,
Well, do you want to
no, I don't want to talk
sit
about
in the
it.
discomfort as AI would have you do? I mean, well, it is right. Like that's what I think about this book, basically.
Yeah,
So
like it is right.
yeah, it's really this is
Okay, you want to guess the
chilling.
6-word review?
I don't feel ready. Sorry, I do feel like a second. Oh God.
I know. I felt gross doing it, but it was so funny, you know?
It is
That's what
really
scares
funny.
me. That's what scares me. It's too good. It's like that. It's gonna tempt us to keep using it, and it's so bad. It's so bad. It has so many bad effects. I hate it. Do you have stuff to say? I do have a lot of notes.
I mean, I have notes.
Oh, you think we-
ChatGPT
You think we
summarize my notes and put them in kind of a jaunty. I mean, this line. This is mom and dad might be getting a divorce past the salad tongs is exactly what I think.
that line was wild. Another line that was wild was not wild, but was just it was how you would say it. Sub in a Discord server
I
or
do.
whatever. It's like
I mean, yeah, I do have
you would
some
say like
notes.
sub in a
Yeah, because it is Love is Blind, and so we do have
yeah,
to grapple with the fact that AI knew
say
that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's wild.
Also, I do like legitimately think like a You've Got Mail remake with a Discord server would work and be great. They'd have to be younger than Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, of course, but that's doable.
But it's like, yeah, there's a million versions of it because it is a flexible rom-com format. You don't see someone and you fall in love with them or whatever, and what are they gonna look like? But I guess we don't have to say that.
No, we don't have to say anything. I feel like legitimately spooked.
Okay, sorry.
It's not your fault. No,
Well, it is my fault. I mean, I'm not responsible for all of AI, but I did give
But
it
part of AI?
more. Well, you know what though? It is publicly available. It's not like I gave it like private data. Like that is Like but I didn't help necessarily by like creating
I
this
like how
project.
we had like maybe a 5 second reckoning with accountability, and the answer was not your fault. Survey says not Pardo's fault. Let's keep moving.
Well, but you also said it wasn't my fault.
I was just being polite.
It is polite to tell people stuff's not their fault. You're right. It is.
But I think though, I was just like trying to be polite, and I do think it is polite to let people off the hook, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So you do think it's my fault?
I
You
mean,
think what's my fault? What's my fault?
I think the empty feeling in the pit of my stomach right now,
Yeah.
and the fact that I'm
It's
kind
like
of
we're
like,
obsolete.
yeah.
We're literally obsolete.
I mean, and I think it must be harder for you not to project. Like, I wasn't bringing that much. So, like, for me to go obsolete, like, I was bringing like 6%. So my 6% goes down to zero. But your 94% goes down to zero. And that's got to be hard for you.
What are you talking about? What are you saying?
That, like, my obsolescence is not as big a
94% of
deal.
what?
Of the 100% beauty that is this podcast in our lives.
Oh, please don't even come to me with this. No, no, no. Robert, you're the star. We all know you're the star. Listen, I'm
Well,
just here and I'm clocking in, I'm punching and I'm, making sure the lights are on, making sure everything's kind of working and you're set up to be able to do what you do. And, you know, I'm just sort of below the line worker. But there's pride in that. There's pride in that.
there's a quiet dignity in what you do.
Exactly.
Describing Pardo's dignity. The first word they would use is quiet. It's the
Oh, and it
invisible
would be the
labor.
first word to talk about you. Yeah, everyone's saying that about Robert. The quietest person they know.
No one's even talking about me because they're just talking about AI now. Oh my gosh. You thought hearing West Germany was
Past the salad
jarring?
talks. What?
I
Oh my
said,
God. Past the salad talks is like, that was crazy. Like, it's a great line. And
it's a
like, you
really
would say
good
it.
line.
And now you can never say it because you'll be like, wait, am I just being the robot copy of AI? And like, who's being the original and who's being the copy? Ah!
Oh my God, we're very
I mean, it
Benjamin
is like,
in all this.
oh, such the Benjamin and the aura. I mean, you will never lose your aura, Robert, of course. But it does make one think of that German show I watched, Cassandra.
Which, no spoilers
Remember?
because I am committed to watching it myself.
Oh, yay. That makes me happy.
Deeply committed.
Okay, well, I'll just say to the listeners, like, there's a lot of shows about robots and AI and this and that, and they turn creepy, et cetera, et cetera. This one was different. This one I loved. It's excellent. It's on Netflix. It's called Cassandra. Watch it right away.
And we
It's
do
a
have to disclose
beautiful show.
we are sponsored by the robot from Cassandra. So we do need to disclose that. This is SponCon.
We are the robot. Okay.
We are the robot. Oh my God. Could it have gone longer? Like, could it have
Oh yeah, I could have said to it, make this 20 times longer or whatever the fuck, and it'll do it. But it's not that smart because then it'll forget stuff. And I have to be like, no, 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 remember. Anyway.
But I mean, I also forget stuff.
Do you want to hear its descriptions of us?
Maybe.
Its descriptions of the podcast?
I mean, nothing too.
It says Robert's trauma most likely originated.
Oh, that's funny. That's true.
Well, here's what it says about the podcast.
Okay.
Dynamic, intimate, funny, a mix of academic brainpower and giddy delight. It feels like a conversation between two best friends who deeply enjoy each other's company.
So the act is working.
Valley High.
So our act is at least fooling AI.
We oscillate between earnest and irreverent, campy, intellectual, nostalgic, queer-coded, emotionally generous.
Ooh. Emotionally generous.
Our conversational hallmarks are lush language, camp meets academia, tender chaos, and friendship at the core.
Aww.
There's real affection here. There's real affection here, whether it's gently teasing, supporting one another, or framing a goof as a sacred memory. I think That was because of a specific thing of the thing. Anyway.
That's beautiful. Wow. Well, this has really kind of cast what we'd call a pall over everything.
Literally, it's like past the Salad Tongs.
But seriously, like the world is imploding past the Salad Tongs.
My God, I almost just choked.
Well, it would be fine if you did, because we would just have AI
I
Rebecca
know!
replace you. I hate it.
And because of my robust end of life plan. But who will toilet me?
Well, no, if you choke, actually, that would be fine. You will have no toilet needs. Oh my God. Imagine what AI would do with the trauma of me watching you die on Zoom. And then do I edit the podcast myself? Like what, or do I release an unedited version as kind of an in memoriam? What do I do?
It would be like this movie I watched once called Denise Calls Up. The whole movie takes place on the phone. And in one scene, someone is leaving someone a voicemail when she's driving, and she gets into a car accident and dies, and that's left on the voicemail. So then the other person listens to the voicemail. It's just like, hey, how are you? Like, I can't wait to see you. Like, and they're dead. It's so crazy. It's so funny.
She was on the phone when it happened. They know because the impact not only snapped her spinal cord, but forced the receiver through her ear canal, severed the sphenoid and the temporal bones, and lodged itself into her brain.
That's happened in real life before, certainly.
I know, and ever since I saw that, I think about it all the time.
Okay.
Like whenever I'm on the phone, yeah. Anyway, what were we saying?
Your robust end of life plan, I assume there's a tab in it that's like, if I die on the podcast. And what is that? I think I need to know.
If I die on the pod?
Yeah.
I trust your masterful discretion. I defer to it.
Oh, wow.
Because the thing is, there's too many contextual variables. It would just have to be your own intuition, and whatever you decide, I will be fine with. Depending on how it is, like maybe you'll say, oh, that's too traumatic. That's going to be too upsetting for listeners and like it doesn't provide much value. Or maybe something about how it happens will provide some informational or emotional experience or insight that could be a nice thing to share with the listeners. So I trust you. I'm dead. My first thing I'm thinking about, no offense, isn't like, are the listeners going to hear me die on the podcast or not? It's not the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about other things.
Of course.
Like, do I have a form? Am I just sort of one with the universe now? Like,
I absolutely thought you meant like a
I'm not
form,
thinking about the podcast.
like a form to fill in, because it's like you have created so many different forms. I mean, we're 45 minutes in. We haven't cracked the book. You want to explain the t-shirt?
Yeah, what is the t-shirt and why are you wearing it?
So I used to have a really close friend. And we don't speak anymore, but we did speak a lot for a long time. Her name was Dr. Rebecca Pardo.
Is she dead?
I'm
Why don't you speak?
I'm anticipating her death.
That sounds like you're plotting murder. That sounds like you're plotting murder.
Okay, this will not hold up in a court of law. I hope. I don't know. Oh no, sorry. So when I was visiting podcast co-host and nemesis Rebecca Pardo in Toronto, I needed extra clothes to wear, basically because her lovely and beautiful dog sheds all over everything, and I am allergic to dogs, and so I was changing my outfit like 6 or 8 times a day, to the point where I basically wait, what?
You were doing Daniela and Magenta every 15 minutes.
I was, but I wasn't even assuming alter egos. I was just trying not to sneeze. But so one of the shirts that I borrowed is this shirt, which is a shirt from the tour of Pardo's favorite podcast and the podcast which informs some of Pardo's, let's say, unique speech patterns. She is being the unique speaking one, for example.
Yep.
And the shirt reads Boys Gone Bad, because I guess was the titular podcast tour? I don't actually know. And so I took it. Oh, go.
Did you say it's called Hollywood Handbook, the podcast? Did you say that? The podcast is called Hollywood Handbook. The tour was called Boys Got Bad.
Yeah, we don't need to give them free advertising. If they want
Yes,
to have
we
us
do.
on
I
the
love
pod.
them.
Yeah,
They're
but if
the
they want to have us
greatest.
on the pod, fine. Our very close friends, Robert and Becky.
And I got that t-shirt at the show where they brought me on stage and I was part of the podcast, and it was the greatest thrill of my actual life.
Thanks. Not being
So
part
it's a
of this
very
podcast.
so it's a very special memento. Like it
Mhm.
has sentimental value, this t-shirt. It's not just like a random merch. It's
No.
associated with a very special moment. Go
That's
ahead.
beautiful. And so I normally use this shirt as like a chamois to dry my car. Sometimes I use it to wipe the old boot hole. But today I have cleaned it and I'm wearing it as a t-shirt for a change. What, Pardo? What?
You're funny. And I
Yep.
am assuming that the reason you're wearing it as a t-shirt for a change is because there are bad boys in our book.
Oh my God, there's so many bad boys in our book.
As you said recently, there is no floor.
There is, I mean, it's just like, I can't, I mean, as I'm reading this book, I am like, how am I going to metabolize this and present it on the podcast? And
Mhm.
luckily, of course,
I know.
ChatGPT has done that work for us, so we don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
But had we not lived in a world with ChatGPT and had we had to do this work ourselves, it'd be a toughie.
Yeah, it's sickening. It's sickening to just watch. I mean, Ned is so monstrous. He's has the fragilest ego in the world. He lashes out. He has anger issues just like Steven. And the mom and he's like constantly undermines her and talks to her rudely in front of the children. And like I just want to say she does not do that to him.
No,
Like
of course not.
and like he is lashes out at everyone. He's a little fucking brat. He resents her success. He's so ridiculously, insanely threatened by her success that he like pulls this fucking stunt of running for mayor or whatever. And like, it's not only to compete. What?
I just have to quote you, AI you. Literally, AIU says, meanwhile, Alice is out here trying to land the biggest project of her career, and Ned's like, feels emasculating, might run for mayor. Like,
But
that is
yeah,
what you're saying.
No, but I'm trying to make a point, which is not only does he react by doing this ridiculous stunt of running for mayor, but then it gets even more sinister, which is that he then uses that to manipulatively control her and make her not progress at work by saying, well, so you don't care about the kids, like with my busyness being mayor. Because then what happens is like, so she's doing this huge project and then she gets named the leader of it. He literally says, wow, you're really going to take that on now with everything going on and things being so busy and the kids, we're not having any time for the kids and we don't have dinner together. And he says this in front of the children. He's like, because of I'm so busy running for mayor or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, she had been planning this thing for months. You ran for mayor to spite her in the middle of this. And now you're twisting it on her like, oh, you're the bad parent who doesn't care about our family or something. Fuck you, demon.
He's definitely a demon.
So it's so it's actually forcing her. It's not only that he's competing with her, he's actually then wielding this and weaponizing this in a way to try to get her to not take on, to actually get her to step down from stuff. It's crazy.
True. There is a little bit of confusion in terms of when he's actually running for mayor versus defending Santelli from the crime that leads him to potentially run for mayor in like his wielding, but whatever.
He's wielding both of them.
He's a wielder.
It's also
He's a
the
double
reason
wielder.
he took on. It's also the reason he took on this outrageous role defending. I mean, you know, something that wasn't mentioned in the ChatGPT version was just like, we love to joke about what kind of lawyer is Ned. In this one, he gets a call from Peter Santelli, Maria Santelli's dad, who's running for mayor and who is being accused of bribery. And he wants Ned to defend him. And you hear Ned on the phone being like, but I don't do that. He's like, I don't practice that kind of law. And then he says later, I haven't practiced criminal law in 15 years. But I think this is obviously intentional. This is obviously strategic because they're trying to give enough flexibility for plot, right? So that in future books, like so that he can do a lot of different stuff. Even the fact that they won't have him say on the phone, I don't do criminal law, is too much of an assertion because no, he does do criminal law because he used to do it and he is doing it now. So he's capable of doing it. So it's like they're putting all these efforts to not nail it down at all and to give these just, as ChatGPT would say, I would say, gestures towards these different specializations that he may or may not have expertise or experience in.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time just kind of
Existing.
melding kind of the ChatGPT Pardo with the
Yeah.
Pardo in front of me.
Who do you prefer? She's wittier.
No, I don't think she's wittier. No.
She's cooler. She's prettier.
I mean, yeah,
I'm like, so we really don't have anything we want to say this book. Do you want to look at the cover?
I'm so freaked out. Sorry. I mean, we haven't summarized the book. This episode is like 100% unlistenable to, except for the very brief ChatGPT portion. And that makes me very self-conscious.
Did you like it? Did you like the book?
Oh, sorry. Did I, non-ChatGPT Robert Marks, like the book? It's hard for me to talk about because I'm like, what did ChatGPT
You're like, I don't
say?
know. I don't know. Did I?
God, I'm
Where
having a
am I?
rough go.
So crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did this.
Yeah. My polite, I literally was thinking, oh, it's not your fault. Like, just try to let you off the hook again to be polite.
No. Hey, why don't we bring in Gordon? This feels like a good time to bring in Gordon.
Oh, does it really?
Gordon wants. Yeah, why not? We're not talking about anything.
Let me see what Gordon's doing. Hi, Pardo.
Hi,
You think Ice Cream Girl should also guest?
ice cream girl.
You heard me.
Say more.
It's Plea's off-brand American Girl doll.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Does she come with a story?
She loves ice cream.
she's not ice cream.
No.
Her name is not Ice. It's not like they sold us a doll named Ice Cream Girl. It's like Plea at 3 named that doll Ice Cream Girl.
But what's her birth name, the doll?
We're not dead naming Ice Cream Girl, Pardo.
Oh my
What's
God. Okay,
her
I'm really
birth
sorry.
Name?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm so
What?
sorry. I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
what? Canceled.
Listen, I've done a lot of bad things today. I received that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I say this not as a justification, but as an explanation, which is I didn't know that Ice Cream Girl considered her birth name actually a dead name. I wasn't aware of that. I thought Ice Cream Girl was more an affectionate
Oh, like a
nickname.
nickname. I see.
I didn't know that it was like that in that way. No, but I shouldn't make that assumption. She was introduced to me as Ice Cream Girl. I don't need to have questions about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
reminding me that.
And thank you for taking accountability. You are being the one who
I always do. And Gordon, say that one more time so we can get it for listeners.
you are being the one who is accountable.
It's too much.
I know.
Gordon, are you up to date? Are you a regular listener? Do you listen?
I'm actually slightly behind.
Rude.
I know. I am working on listening to the pod. I'm about 3 episodes back in Lila's Superstar.
Mm.
I also thought that Jack Wet Puck Wet was very funny. Very funny.
Oh my God, Gordon. You should read the books.
We were actually talking yesterday, and I said something. I don't even remember what it was, but he laughed. He didn't laugh at all. He said, I recognize that is a perfect and very funny thing to say, like Jack Wet Pocket, even though I am not laughing.
Ice Cream Girl fell over. Robert's not like freaking out about
it. I'm like, did Robert sees a ghost? What? It's like there's a killer. It's killer. Wendy Williams, she always talks about, do you know this? She always talks about killer. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you later. Doesn't matter. Fine. Don't be rude. Don't give me your wrap up fingers. Oh my God.
That's not
Gordon's.
I mean, I guess that kind of is the wrap it up fingers. I think of it more like this. Like,
okay, Gordon, what would you describe the fingers Robert just gave? Please.
I like a rolling, like keep rolling, like you're cooking, keep going, like so kind of an
And Robert,
and that's what I meant
but
the whole time, the whole time.
you're so rude. You're so rude.
This is all about Eve. He's like, oh, can I come up? And now he's going to shove me down the stairs, and he's going to be the new podcast.
Wait, is
host.
that what All About Eve is about?
Have you not seen All About Eve?
No.
Yes.
That is
Oh
what
my God.
It sounds kind
It's
of
about like,
single white female in the same vein,
yeah,
maybe.
it's veiny.
yeah, but like on stage.
Okay,
Oh, Gordon, you don't know what you even missed. I mean, this has been chaos top to bottom.
Oh, he's saying wrap it up. Goodbye. Pardo, a pleasure as always.
Thanks, Gordon. Well, this is going to be fun to edit, I'll tell you that.
No, Halloween's not my favorite thing because I always feel as though that's a free pass for the killer. Regular scarves have the ends where the killer can come and just finish you off. I don't want to play music in the shower because I want to hear if the killer is coming. Don't you keep a bat from Yankee Stadium in your night table drawer? They're so convenient. All you have to do clunk one time with the killer.
I hear that you think people are always going to come and get you.
Oh, the killer. And well, what was she doing in the stairwell? Because that's where the killer is. And now we live in North Jersey.
Where?
But you're in Hasbro. Well, the killer.
You never know who you can meet online.
The killer. The killer is everywhere.
This is the most chaotic episode we've ever done. So when's your heart out?
well, my heart out just texted that they'd be 15 minutes late. So I guess I have another hour.
Okay, I don't necessarily have that. So, getting a little excited. Another
My
hour.
heart out's at 3 minutes. You have that?
Well, do you want to see the cover?
Do we want to summarize the plot at all? Do we think ChatGPT?
I mean, we can't. No, at this point, we can't. At this point, we can't.
So
Fine.
at this point, we're just expecting we don't have listeners. Is that what we're kind of
Okay,
going
fine.
with?
No, I think it would be helpful to just very briefly explain what happens.
So very, very briefly, the cliffhanger for the last book was that Alice and Ned are fighting all the time. This book opens with more of Alice and Ned fighting all the time, past the Salad Tongs. It's just so good. Sorry. God, wow, I just looked into the void again.
It broke us. This broke us. We're broken now. We're never gonna be able to do it again. Okay, because it's gonna be always already referencing this. That's crazy.
Oh,
It's broken. I broke it.
my brain. Sorry, so Alice and Ned are fighting. Alice has this big opportunity at work. Huge news for the podcast. The Valley Mall is expanding. And the new wing needs an interior designer. Alice's firm is up for it, so she's working extra hours to get it. They put in the bid, they get the bid. She's named the lead, and when we say name the lead, like there's a newspaper article about it that says like Alice Wakefield will be leading this new development, which is amazing. Meanwhile, oh God, I blanked on his first name. What's Santelli's first name? George? No, that's Fowler. Peter, thank you. Peter Santelli's running for mayor. We knew that for the end of the last book, but we found out at the beginning of this book that he's been accused of taking bribes. He calls Ned and says, Ned, will you defend me? Ned's like, oh, I probably shouldn't. Like, I haven't practiced criminal law in 15 years, question mark.
That kind of law is what he actually says on the phone to Peter. Then later he says, cripple, go ahead.
Wait, but I don't think you think he's worried about guarding what he says to Peter versus what he says to the readers.
No, I'm just saying he said that kind of lie in that moment. I'm just saying that's what happened. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
It's this kind of nuance that ChatGPT can't capture. This kind of obsessive devotion to detail. Oh, but he does end up defending Peter. This is where I get a little confused, and I'll need your knowledge of the American legal system to help us, because
you're not confused, Robert. It's not you.
yeah,
It is not you. You are not confused. You are absolutely correct.
okay.
The book is being crazy. Go ahead.
The book is being wild. So basically what happens is it goes to trial. Ned is really nervous and feels like he's doing a really bad job. The case gets dropped. The judge drops the case for lack of evidence. And everyone is like, oh no, that's terrible news. Now we'll never clear Peter's name. Now Peter will never be able to run for mayor. And it's like, wait, if the case was dropped for lack of evidence and we live in a country where you are presumed innocent, that would be fine and he would be great to run for mayor. And we are absolutely not going to talk about people who have run for elected office after being charged with criminal bad, and still, yeah, I'm melting. My brain is melting.
Yeah.
But
now in 2025, we of course know that it's actually desirable for our elected officials to be convicted felons, rapists, having actually been impeached, and so on. But back in this times, they're like, oh, it's actually not a cute look for someone who's running for mayor to be potentially people thinking they're criminal. But yeah, it's ridiculous the way the book treats it, because it's like the case is thrown out, which means there wasn't enough evidence. But the thing is, I actually think it's even more than what you said. I actually thought it was that it didn't even go to trial, because I thought it was pre-trial and the judge was like, there's not even evidence for a trial. No? So it happened in the middle of the trial? Either way, it's ridiculous because they're treating it like a failure. They're treating it like a negative outcome when it's actually the best outcome. There is no innocent verdict. That isn't how it works. There's no name is cleared stamp that the judge puts. Like the case being thrown out or there not being evidence, like means there isn't enough evidence to prosecute you. That doesn't mean that your reputation may not be affected. That doesn't mean that people still may swirl around doubt and suspicion, but that's not something that Ned, defending him at this trial, would have been able to. There's no such thing as clearing his name in this trial. Like this is clearing his name in the sense that it's not whatever. Like, oh my
Makes
God.
No sense. But because Santelli's name is not cleared,
quote
unquote, Bruce Patman's dad, Henry, and a political consultant whose name we are given, and I'm sure you remember, but I don't.
James Knapp with a K. James Knapp.
Oh, you're amazing. James Knapp come by the Wakefield's house and say, hey, Ned, would you run for mayor? And Ned's like, well, I don't have any experience. I probably shouldn't. And then he gets more and more threatened by what's going on with Alice. And he first he says, I need to talk about it with my wife and family. And then as he gets more frustrated and threatened by Alice, he says what ChatGPT says he says, which is like, this feels emasculating, might as well run for mayor.
One detail, I think, the way that also happens is that it's like tells them he's going to think about it. Jessica overhears this conversation, tells Liz or asks him about it, and he's like, okay, but don't say anything to your mom yet. I haven't talked about it with her yet. And then he, quote unquote, doesn't get a chance to talk about it with Alice until Jessica sort of on purpose by accident spills the beans about it at dinner. And but Jessica says it in a way that makes it sound a little bit more defined, where she's like, but Dad, you're running for mayor. And Alice is like, what? And he's like, no, I'm thinking about it. She's like, and you weren't going to talk to me? He's like, I meant to, but there wasn't it's like, So they make it as if he's sort of also responding to her reaction to the news, which like is not really fair. I don't know if that made sense. Whatever.
Nothing makes sense. Put it into ChatGPT and see what ChatGPT says.
He's such a piece of shit around like
everything. Having
the kids keep secrets for him. Because, for example, like that's one thing where he was like, don't say anything. But also there are some, and I know ChatGPT already said it or whatever, but there are some legit astute descriptions of the children's witnessing and experiencing of the tension in the home that to me as a child of divorce were so real, so compelling, so touching, so heartbreaking. Elizabeth being so attentive, not only to the dynamic between her parents, but just to how spaces feel and how the house feels. And there's this moment where she's at dinner with Todd and she's gradually relaxing into the dinner. There's this beautiful sentence where it's like, she gradually eased into the warm, private space they had created and she didn't want to leave. And it's like, because home doesn't feel warm anymore. Having a space you can feel relaxed in isn't something that you think about until it's not accessible. You know what I mean? It's like Oh, I also really loved how like the book sort of frames that Jessica does this. The B plot is Jessica does this party line and she meets this guy in a party line and you're like, okay, so she's falling in love with a voice, love is blind, etc. Like, what's the punchline going to be? What is he? We've seen this a million times before of, okay, there's something going on. What's the guy going to be? And we don't actually find out, I think, in this book, right?
Correct.
So it's still open in the next book, which is kind of fun because that doesn't usually happen. But the book sort of frames it as that it's like in response to Lila, because Lila got a new
Video camera.
something.
Video camera.
What?
Video camera. Video camera.
Yeah.
Video camera.
And so it's like, well, she needs something to like top Lila, so she does this. But the truth is, I think there are signals that show us that she's really doing this party line to escape the tension of the home. I noticed that the last book had like Jessica's heart sank, or Jessica being extremely perceptive of the tension between the parents. This book is more in Elizabeth's perspective in terms of like, she's the one who's so concerned with the parents and she thinks Jessica's just like, oh, everything's fine. I think not realizing that Jessica's also really being affected by this.
Yeah.
She's just coping with it in a very different way. And I think one thing that's fascinating about this Ned and Alice Trouble at Home storyline is seeing how the girls handle it differently.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know you didn't finish the plot summary. Is that why you're smiling?
No, I was smiling because my brain is broken and I was laughing about a 43-year-old line cook named Dwayne. The joke that ChatGPT gave us for who Charlie really is. Everything kind of comes to a head. The family's going away to Tahoe for the weekend, and it's like a weekend away from work. Liz decides that in order for her mom to be able to go, she needs the support of her mom's assistant and needs her mom's assistant to convince her mom to go. And the only way that Liz can convince her mom's assistant to convince her mom to go is by giving the private phone number of the inn, which is kind of the main inn where it's like the central place. They're staying in a cabin and where there aren't phone lines, but the inn has a phone line. And boy, should I really be spending more time describing the phone system at the Lake Tahoe place that they're staying, but whatever. And Alice keeps getting calls and Ned is like, wait, we said this was no work. You gave them the phone number. Like, this is terrible. And she's like, I didn't give them the phone number, but I do need to go back to Sweet Valley to finish this up. And Yep. Okay. It's like 3:00 or something. It's in the mid-afternoon. And Alice says, I'm going to go home now. Y'all are going to leave at 6:00 anyways. So I'm missing like 3 hours of the end of our vacation. And Ned says, if you walk away now, you are not just walking away from this vacation. You are walking away from our family. And then, and our marriage. Yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. And then the book ends. So I know that listeners at this point have been...
Well, no, she leaves. She leaves and the book ends.
Oh, this is a doll's house.
Sorry?
This is a doll's house. How did I not figure that out until this moment?
The play?
The play, Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. There's like all of this marital strife about, oh my God, about how Nora wants to get her own job and Torvald, her husband, doesn't want her to get her own job. And it ends with her leaving the family. And it was... Oh
my gosh.
And wait for this. It caused such an upheaval that they made him write an epilogue where she comes back to the family. And so for a couple of years, it was performed with her coming back. And then now it's not performed with her coming back and she just leaves.
Robert, that gives me chills.
How could it not give you chills? It's chilling. How did I not just realize it until now? How did ChatGPT not mention it?
One important detail I think you didn't include in the conflict at the end in Tahoe, where it's like, is she going to leave? Is that they're all on horses. She doesn't walk away. She like goes like, nay, like pulls the reins and like literally trots away on her fucking horse into the sunset. That's the last scene of the book. It's crazy.
That's so true. But so listeners at this point have been conditioned to picture me reading in the dark under the covers with my husband slumbering peacefully beside me. You know that I'm in Philly. I read this yesterday on the plane. And I need for you to understand the disorienting feeling where we're like 65% of the way through and he's like, maybe he'll run for mayor. And then we're 75% of the way through and it's like, Jess finds out that the chat line is $1 a minute And then we're like 88% of the way through and we're just in Tahoe. And I'm like, wait, we're at chapter 13, the last chapter of this book. Nothing is wrapped up. I literally was like, how are they going to wrap all of this up in one book, in one chapter? It like didn't even occur to me that the book was going to end without us knowing who Charlie is, without any kind of reconciliation or dealing with the phone bill, to say nothing of running for mayor, divorce. I mean, I was when we get to the last page and it's like an actual cliffhanger, which almost never happens. I was so jarred. You would have thought West Germany was printed on the page. It was shocking to me.
Yes. And it's such an escalation. It's like, oh, wow. And you see the girls responding to it like the girls are both clutching each other. Whereas previously Jessica was sort of playing it cool. It was like now when she pulled her arm, she held hers back. He's being so cold. He's like, I'm sorry I even bothered to worry about how running for mayor would affect the family. Since you obviously couldn't care less, why should I? I'm going to run for mayor. So what if I won't be home anymore? It obviously won't make any difference at all to you. And it's like, oh, wow. So you just don't give a shit about your kids also. You don't care to be home for your kids, but whatever. And then he's like, if you take off right now, you're doing more than just walking out on a weekend. You're walking out on me and the kids too. Why don't you just stop and think for a second about what that means? Are you threatening me, Ned? And he says this in front of the children. All I'm saying is that I can't stand this anymore. If you leave now, you're leaving me, you're leaving our marriage. Elizabeth thought she was going to faint. She heard a buzzing in her ears and could barely sit up on her horse. Mom, don't, she cried. But it was too late. Mrs. Wakefield had already turned her horse around and was headed for the inn. Elizabeth couldn't hold back her tears. She felt her life was ending. There was no solid ground to stand on. Does this mean that her parents are going to throw away more than 20 years of marriage? I mean, it's wild. And I remember at the last time cliffhanger, we said you were guessing, understandably, because there's no precedent for this, that there was going to be some emergency and then they would reconcile or whatever. And it's like, yeah, to see this type of conflict not get wrapped up in a book, we haven't really seen that.
The only things the only precedent we have is like ending a book. We end like Dear Sister. Like there are books where someone's in a coma, of course.
Or where someone dies at the end of the book. Yeah. And it sort of goes into the, yeah.
But exactly. To be like, this feels much more important than a coma. Right?
That's what I really like about this moment in the series. It's doing something different and it's being more real. This is more realistic. I'm not saying whatever, but so how do you, okay. So you were just like, damn, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, without the resolution, I was absolutely dreading. Luckily, we have ChatGPT to do all the work for us. And we had my brother to distract us for 45 minutes. But I was dreading, like, how are we going to deal with this when everything is left open? There is no resolution for anything in this text. The only thing that's resolved is Peter Santelli's trial.
Do you have any predictions about either, like...
They can't get divorced.
What about Mayor?
Ned doesn't give Mayor to me. I think, so my actual prediction from early in the book doesn't actually even make sense anymore. I thought the detail of Lila getting the video camera was so specific that I thought we were going to use that video camera to clear Santelli's name and he was going to be fine. And that would resolve that, and then we wouldn't have to run for mayor and blah, blah, blah. That obviously does not come to pass. I mean, I guess I don't see Ned being mayor of Sweet Valley. Like, that seems... He's a monster. I mean, we've seen it before. My thought is, okay, here's what I want to have happen. Runs for mayor. Loses because he's tarnished by Santelli's bribe taking. His association with Santelli and the bribe taking.
Mm-hmm.
In his despair, realizes what he really needed to do the whole time was be a better husband and father. Has a complete shift in everything about him, except his kind of handsome, lean body that can stay. And supports Alice not only to do this Valley Mall upgrade, but also to pursue larger projects which take her further away from the family because he supports her. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope so. Jessica calls Charlie on his private number, and there's a moment of confusion where the person answering is clearly an adult, but then says it's Charlie Sr. Let me go get Charlie Jr. And I just really hope that that's not all one person and that it's a real adult who's doing this.
A 45-year-old line cook named Dwayne.
43. If you're going to quote ChatGPT, it's
43.
important to be exact because ChatGPT does get
43.
angry with errors. My thought about that whole thing was that it's not even a real, I mean, it's a real party line, but most of the people on it are actors who are just trying to get people to stay on the party line.
Oh, it's like a marketing thing.
Like a
And she's the
marketing
only
thing.
paying
Yeah.
customer. That'd be so sad.
Well, but I think
so
that doesn't
sad.
really make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense that, but it would make sense that Charlie is an employee of the phone, an actor employee of the phone company who makes new people fall in love and spend more time. I don't know.
Yeah. He's like a bottle girl.
Yeah, exactly. He's a bottle girl. Charlie the bottle girl. That is my hope for the resolution for that. And then we get the phone bill and it's $200 and she picks up an extra job at like ice cream stand,
The
etc.
new boutique.
Well, I mean, Sweet Valley Mall is expanding.
Yeah.
So there's
Can I just show you one thing about the cover that I have to talk about? There's just one thing I need to discuss. They made Elizabeth's face look like Sylvester Stallone.
Oh wait, are we already looking at the cover?
Yeah.
She
Doesn't
look
it?
like Sylvester Stallone.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? Like
No.
the expression in her eyes and then the way her lip is. He has that sleepy look in his eyes and then his mouth is sort of like whatever. Her face looks like that.
That is weird.
But I did think what ChatGPT said about sitting in the discomfort or whatever was astute and I think is reflected in the cover because, for example, if we contrast this with Family Secrets where they're all smiling, putting up a front, in this cover, it's Liz, Jess, and Steven, and they're all frowning. And so it's like, okay, well, we're at least acknowledging that things are bad and that there's problems. Like we're being real this book in a way we maybe haven't.
Yeah, I
I
can
really
see
don't
that.
see it.
I don't see
No, I
Sylvester
mean in her face.
Stallone.
It's like this crookedness in the mouth.
I kind of see it.
Yay. Yay. Thank you. Thank you for being open to seeing it.
It's the mouth and the
It's there.
cheeks, maybe?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I can't do it, but
Now, I did, of course, see the tagline.
whatever.
Yeah, at this point,
Is the
ChatGPT
Wakefield
did
family
it.
Yeah, is the Wakefield family coming apart? And then on the back, family problems.
Oh, I could have guessed
All right,
the
well-
things. R.I.P. my
So our
guessing.
next book is Bruce's story, right? And then the next one after that is gonna be,
Is that true?
yeah, I think so. I think we get Bruce's story, and then here, should we
I
read the
hate
actual
that.
cliff? That we are still on a cliffhanger and doing a diversion before we find out. Yeah, so it's what's gonna happen to the Wakefield family. Find out in Sweet Valley High, number 66, who's to blame. And then in Bruce's story, do you want to read it? The teaser, do you have it? I think it's first chronologically. If you want, we can do who's to blame first.
I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah.
Coming next month, the second Sweet Valley High Superstar Edition, Brooch's story. Arrogant, spoiled Brooch Patman is in for the fight of his life. Brooch's grandfather has set up a contest between Bruce and his cousin Roger, and the prize is control over the Patman millions. I do want to read that. But I would like to know, I mean, I need to know the answers about who's to blame. I mean, Ned is to blame. I know that answer. I'm not stupid. There we
Yeah,
go.
Bruce's story is first chronologically. It came in June and who's to blame was July, but I'm open to switching them if you really
No,
need to know.
No. I do really need to know, but also, I can wait.
All right. If you,
Wait, are we done with the podcast? This is the end of the podcast?
I mean, what else do we have to, do you have something else to say?
I mean, we
I mean,
didn't
I
like go through
didn't
the...
even look at my notes.
Yeah,
What?
let me quickly look
I
at
have
my
like
notes.
100 pages of notes, but like it was so sad all the times Liz was trying to like make a nice spaghetti dinner.
Yeah.
And the times where they tried to make it nice and then it breaks felt so heartbreaking and real. There's another one where they all miss dinner and then they're all coming home by themselves and there's tension. And Alice tries to bring them together by being like, well, can we all have coffee together and hot cocoa or
Mm.
ice cream? And Liz is dishing the ice cream to the bulls, being like, and now our family's gonna have a nice moment. And then it gets weird. And then the same thing happens in Tahoe. They're like, let's play charades. And then you're like, oh, this is gonna be a cute little moment. It's their tradition. They always play charades in Tahoe. And then it breaks and it's like so sad. Or she tries to make the spaghetti and then the spaghetti sticks together and it's like, well, then let's just make a fucking microwave dinner.
That's exactly right.
All right.
Yeah, just
Have to
to,
say?
I don't know. We can just go, I
What?
guess. There's just,
What?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
What?
I have like
What?
pages of notes.
Yeah, me too. A lot.
This book is like a movie I wouldn't choose to watch. Because I don't like I wrote like a marriage story. Like this is not a kind of movie that I would want to watch.
Oh God, I think ChatGPT actually said that and I deleted it.
No,
I think they actually
really?
had you saying it was a marriage story. Oh my God.
Can you look through
Oh my God. Oh my
the
God.
receipts or
That's
whatever?
frightening. That's frightening.
Did you
That's
keep
actually
the
frightening.
initial, like how do we find
Yeah, yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. That's frightening. Hold on. Let me see if I can search.
While you're searching, I do like that Charlie on the party line tells Jess, "You have the blondest voice I've ever heard," when he guesses that she's blonde.
Okay, this is you. Okay, I have to say it. I have to. This book is basically Marriage Story, but if Adam Driver were a lawyer who said things like, I don't care about the Valley Mall expansion, and Scarlett Johansson was an overworked architect mom who refuses to put her blueprints down even when her marriage is literally imploding over the lasagna.
Yeah, that is. Yep, that's.
That's
I need to go
scary.
now.
This is now, yeah, that was wow. And it's like, oh gosh, that was wow. Wow, that was, oh, okay. Well, past the salad tongs, I guess.
Pass the salad tongs. Hmm. Well.
If you huh.
Could
That's what it
ChatGPT just
is.
rate and review us? Is there a way for them to just? I guess we could have bots do
Yeah.
it, right?
Okay. If you are artificially intelligent, then you are good at things like interacting with software, and you should rate, review, subscribe our podcast. Wow, this is sad.
I'm not
If you're
having
a
a nice
literal
time.
computer, if you're a literal computer. All
Okay.
right. Should we wrap it up?
I mean, I think I'm broken, so whatever you think is best.
To quote you, it's so bleak.
That's not even me. That's quoting me via ChatGPT.
Oh my God. The marriage story thing is so insane.
I like don't. I feel actually sick.
Oh my God. I feel spiritually sick. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah, I do.
alienated. I feel like
Yeah.
my life force has been drained.
Well, that's nice. Well, I quit.
Guys, this is why we have to stop. We can't keep doing this.
The
It's not
podcast, you mean?
good. No, talking to ChatGPT and thinking it's our friend.
I, I'm gonna have
Like it's
full on nightmares tonight, just so we all understand. What?
I mean, sub in a Discord server and it's basically 2020.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. I feel like my spirit just got hit with a bus.
Well, it did. I'm sorry. Again, it's my fault and I'm sorry. I
Yeah, it's just
will
so
not
like
do it again.
this is a horror movie. Like it's like what started as a fun game for Pardo, like breaks apart the fabric
Yeah.
of our universe.
Well, it's like now it's gonna start impersonating. Now I've given it everything it needs to hijack you.
All without my consent.
Yeah, I mean, you did put that data out there. Like it is out there, and like our transcript is published with every episode on Apple Podcasts. So literally, like anyone could do this, and like the computer could even do it by itself if it wanted. I'm not telling it to,
No,
but
please
that could
don't.
happen. All right.
Okay. Well, I am tortured
Yeah.
now.
Thanks for listening to Sweet Valley Hive. hosted by Robert Marks and Rebecca Pardo. For more, check out our Instagram at Sweet Valley Hive. Theme song by Yessie and artwork by Elliot Carroll.